Hello and welcome to Dreams of Wings, and welcome here to the beautiful Cairngorm National Park, where this is live weather, and it's looking pretty good, I have to say. The wind is at the moment 8 knots from 024. There's a bit of cloud. It's live weather, but obviously not live time because it's dark. But I thought it would be nice to come up here, do a bit of an impromptu late stream, doing some HEMS stuff. Made some changes to the setup with the installation of the helicopter and a couple of things. So just doing a bit of testing. If you caught the last stream, there are a couple of things that weren't working quite well. So just made some changes there, and here we are. Where's my controller gone? There we go. Let's have a look. Isn't it absolutely stunning? I thought I'd position us. Normally we start at RAF Lossiemouth or Inverness, but I thought I would start us off right in the middle of the mountains. In fact, let me show you. Let me show you. Get that screen working. See if this works. There we go. It's working. So this is where we are. Feshiebridge Airfield. It's home of the Cairngorm Gliding Club, and it's right here. And then we've got Aviemore up here, Lochmorlich over here. You've got the Cairngorm Mountain. I wasn't quite sure what to call it. Centre, I suppose, where you've got the start of the funicular railway there. So yeah, it's a really good patch to start off in. So it'll be interesting to see what comes our way, and also where it'll take us, because you never quite know what's the time. Time is now 9:20. Not sure how long I'm going to be doing this for, but with this positioning, I mean, chances are it's going to take us to Raigmore Hospital or possibly even Aberdeen. It has taken me down to Dundee before, so who knows where this journey is going to take us. Anyway, I shall remember to go back onto that screen rather than leave it there. Shoestring, hello. Thanks for joining. I'm not. No, how best to say this? I was brought up in the RAF, and I've had connections with RAF people, but I'm not RAF myself. I very nearly was, but my old man talked me out of it, actually. But there you go. That's another story. Robert, how are you doing? I hope everything is all right with you, my friend. Okay, so let's just get a few things sorted out here. So I have got, for the benefit of people who join the stream, get the head tracking on. There we go. You'll notice that I've moved the camera up to the top there. Someone quite rightly pointed out on a previous stream where I was flying the llama that my ugly mug was right in the middle of the instrument panel on the stream, which wasn't great. Oh, you're ex-RAF as well. Fantastic. Well, I say ex-RAF as well. I'm not, but wonderful. They're always good chaps. Okay. So, just quickly check my physical controls. Yeah, that's all good. That's all working. You never quite know these days. So, first things first. I need to come out of here. Actually, let's no, I'll leave those there. We'll go into maps and missions. This is the same old. Come on, get the click spot. There we go. Same old routine. So we go into random and everywhere. HEMS random everywhere and random appears in different names and different things. Random and everywhere, everywhere and random and anywhere. I'm not quite sure which one it is, but it's a free mod by davierosoft and it's blooming amazing. It's really good. Right, I'm just going to change that. There's Frank, our ever faithful ground crew. I don't want us to be travelling too far because I want us to get some missions in. We will select single player. Okay, so now we need to set up the battery. There we go, and we'll put some position lights on because we're going to start doing things in a second. So at this stage, this is kind of, if we were back at base, we would all be sitting in the crew room with mugs of tea waiting for the shout. What's happened here is me and the lads, we thought we'd come over to the flying club
Hey, good morning all. Ready for the missions?
Hello, fellas. There goes Frank and the crew.
Hey, Frank. Good morning.
There's the crew. Well done, boys.
Good morning, Frank.
One thing that is happening in 2024 since SU2 is some of the crew have managed to develop the art of levitating. Now, I know the RAF are skillful and they are almost godlike, but I've never seen levitating aircrew. But I think it's kind of cool.
Hi, Captain.
Away.
Helicopter is ready to fly.
Per Ardua.
Logbook filled and signed. If you need refueling, please ask.
Just let them finish talking. Okay, so we've
Thank
done
you,
that.
Frank.
We've got that.
I'll check.
I've got the battery on. Now I need to switch the mission radio on, and this is what connects us to the mission. This is our link with the rescue centre, the emergency services, all that kind of good stuff. So we're just waiting for that now to go through its startup. There we go, and it says push call to connect. So we'll now connect to the radio, and then this will change here, and then we are live with dispatch. Quick check in the chat. Are you doing all this SU? Are you doing all this in SU2? Yes, Manic Miner. This is SU2. I flew the first batch of missions in SU2 the other night. Had a couple of things that didn't go to plan, but long story short, long story short, it is a long story. It was to do with repaints. Some repaints act funnily, so you have to drag the layout onto the the layout generator and just fiddle about with a few bits and pieces there, and that fixes it. Muzz, how are you doing? Good to see you. Yes, godlike, of course. Right, okay, that was them telling us we've got something. Accident with bicycle involved. Now, I always find that when you're up in doing a bit of mountain rescue,
Cabin preparations, please wait.
one of the most dangerous things you can come across is an accident with bicycle involved, especially if it's because someone's had one hurled at them. But I'm imagining, hoping, if that's the right word, that this is a mountain bike coming down a scree slope.
Cabin secured. All set to proceed.
Or something like that. Right, at least one injured, waiting for information, accident with bicycle involved, waiting info about rescue vehicles present. Okay, so let's get that up on the map, and then while that's doing, let's send the co-pilot out to do his thing. So, God, last time, what was it? I think it was 1 and then 2, so we'll go 2.
Preparing for engine starting sequence.
And then 1.
2, 1.
And then we'll get the anti-collision lights on and leave the rest of the time being. There he goes. Well done, lad. Are you going to levitate? No, he's walking. He's doing it the hard way. Right, let's get rid of the POI. Let's centre on the... Oh, no. Let's leave that there. Just want to see where it's taking us. Okay, so it's taking us past Kingusi, so it's not far. Right, he's in position. Let's go for engine 2. Battery's looking good. N1 rising, and we've got oil pressure.
GPU disconnected. Ready to go. Good day.
Cheers, Rick. Good lad. Spoon me a kipper. I'll be back before breakfast. God knows where that came from. There goes Frank, taking his fire extinguisher for a walk. Okay,
Engine started
engine 2.
successfully. Moving to other engine.
Yes, that's not far at all.
Engine clear.
Go for engine 1. Engine rising. Oil pressure rising. That's all good. Why do you have maps ETC on your legs? Not noticed that. It's in the livery. It's an RAF 202 Squadron
All engines started successfully.
Seeking livery, and the crew are in there you go, RAF flying suits, and I have maps on my legs.
Hold on. Performing leak checks.
Cheers, Planet Miner. Yes, Platty, back in Scotland. We did Norway and Innsbruck the other night, and we are back in Scotland. Okay. Let's have that off. Transfer bumps on. Avionics on. ABCS there. Pitot heat on, and that's all good. Have the strobe on. Come on, fella. We've got lives to save. Okay, I'm going to turn off.
All good.
The bloody tours. Let's have that.
TOS system test OK.
Bring those into play, because flying in the mountains, that is going to go on all the time. And we don't want to upset it. Right, what have we got down here? That's a good. Acknowledge that. What have we got here? Cabin ready for takeoff. We'll put the engines to, just checking the collective is still down. Both engines to flight. Checking everything's looking good. You can see over here our route is a white line and we've got nothing in the box. So a little weird thing we have to do at the moment is just cycle the Garmin, which we're not using for some reason. That does a few things, and also select our nav source to MSFF, because that then will help drive, or it will drive the, because we're taking the nav from the mission rather than the Garmin or anything else. Yes, Platty, I'm making the most of doing a bit of streaming. Trying to get a few technical things sorted out while I've got the chance. Right, that's all good to go. That's all good to go. Blue line in the box, nothing down there. Let's move engine over there. Let's put this other one there. Right. You ready? He's ready. I swear that little wry smile on his. Right, now he's looking away. That little wry smile on his face gets bigger every time. Right, not much in the way of wind, but it is from over that way. So we are going to take off that way, head into wind a bit, pick up some speed, and avoid, there's Frank, avoid the gliders, because they're going to be well pissed off if we start blowing their gliders around. Right, so cycling trim release on. Let's just come forward a little bit. Say, by the way, I'm on the Western Europe server, so if you fancy a bit of a magical mystery tour by helicopter, there's Frank walking his ground power unit. He's a good lad. Okay. Just going to pick up some speed. Not much in the way of wind. It's 11 knots, a bit more than I thought.
VTOS.
So, there we go.
V1.
Start to turn now. Yeah, beautiful up here. As I say, this is live weather. So, very lucky. We seem to be going through something of an early summer. I don't know if heat wave is the right word for it, because it's not exactly that hot, but we've not had rain for a while, and it's quite sunny. Okay, let's just intercept that. Just widen the map in a bit. That's Lockinch over there. Famous water sports centre there. Got to be very careful with the blowing the gliders around. Hosepipe ban next week, is it really? God, this is very boring old man talk, but I've just had to overseed a large section of the lawn, so I'm hoping that my seeds will have germinated and everything will be tickety-boo before they start the hosepipe ban, because otherwise all that work turned into a farmer. A grass farm. If there is such a thing. There we go. So what do we got? 8 nautical miles, 4 minutes. I can honestly say I've not had a bicycle accident before, so that's a new one for me. Now I just realised I need, where is it? YouTube live control panel. It's going to come up. There we go. Everything's working again, except I've lost the chat. Oh, that reminds me. If you're on Discord, we have a Discord. I don't think that's going to work because I just realised. Oh, it had worked. Okay. I think I'd started some of my. Oh no, it's there. Okay. Yeah, there's the Discord. Come along, say hello. Right. How are we looking? Still good. Not exactly tanking it. So I'm guessing where we're going here, if we end up having to take the casualties to hospital, then it's going to be Raigmore, I would have thought. I'm hoping not Dundee. Nothing against Dundee. I really would like to stay as north as I can. Rather than do that.
We will be first on scene.
King Uzi over there. Now, at the risk of boring people who are regulars, just in case you've not seen this before, if you've not seen the mod, this is the random and anywhere mod, not the random and anywhere. Yeah, anyway, God, it is late. I need some more coffee. Which does what it says on the tin if you wanted to, which is what I've done. I didn't know, I picked where I wanted to start, but I didn't pick what kind of shout we were going to get, and you know, what is going to follow, where we're going to be sent, and all that sort of thing. It's a free mod by davierosoft. The links are down below, and it works with the high performance group H145 and Action Pack expansion. And it's blooming amazing, and it's what really got me into flying helicopters, because it gives you such an incredible purpose to fly, and you don't know where you're going to go, which is even better. You can literally lose yourself for hours, which may well be.
I set a possible hospital destination for our patient. Infos are available on tablet. We can confirm or change later.
Whoever that is, I'm talking here. Whoa, concentrate. Yeah. I forgot what I was saying. This is what happens when you've got disrespectful crew who are trying to be professional and you're in the front yabbering to people. That's what happens.
2 nautical miles from accident area.
Okay. Let's just start. Lowering the speed. Start a bit of a descent. So just bring it in, and let's just quickly, I just realised that. Come on. There we go. Nice little lock-in. Where is the fella gone? He's certainly come off in the middle of nowhere. Yes, so going back to the mod, so it simulates a lot of the, it's written by a real-world Airbus helicopter flying instructor. And you can tell he knows what he's talking about
Rear crew, we are approaching the landing site.
by the amount of detail that he has built into it. Okay, we've got an orange flare. I must remember to turn those off. So it simulates a lot of the time that it takes to do things. So you'll see what happens when we land, and you'll see what happens when we get to the hospital. Right, let's have a look. We have got a huge amount. It looks like he's gone down. Yeah, there's not really... oh, hello. One of the things that I find most challenging about this is that you can see a patch of ground and you think, oh yeah, that's perfect for a landing, until you get right close to it and you see that there's a slope. So I'm not going to land on the A9. Let's get rid of the... go out the way. Go on. We're going to go down here. Where it'd be quite handy to have
We are
a
reasonably close.
real world kind of crew where they would call out distances. So I'm just trying to judge the slope. So yeah, there's a bit of a slope, but not too bad. And settle. And we're down. Engines to idle.
Rear crew, prepare for ground operations.
Lads are jumping out the back. Let's have a look. Oh, where's he gone? Uwe Heli-Whopper. There it is. Isn't that beautiful livery? Demo designs. The link is down below. So this EGZL 588, and let me see. Whoop, wrong finger. That is the Sea King. That's X-Ray Zulu 588. Which this helicopter is a repaint of. It's now with historic helicopters. So, do you ever get the feeling you're being watched? They are now going to go over and we will follow them to the casualty. And they're going to do their thing. Quick catch up in the chat. Hilo is drowning your voice. Not a bit. Okay. So the helicopter's too loud, is it? Or is that better? Try and move the mic. It's on the same settings it was the other night, and that seemed to be okay. I certainly didn't get any complaints. Yeah, TDS is great. Especially if you use Navigraph. It's now got the Navigraph integration, including charts and all that sort of stuff. So it's pretty cool. That purple heather I can hear. Hear the casualty. Come on, lads. Here we go in. Glad to see they're not levitating. Now when levitation would actually be quite a good skill to have, they're just trudging it. Where on earth is our casualty? In here. Come on, lads. Hurry up. Oh. Oh, here we go. So, here is a very dodgy looking geezer hiding in a bush. That's always a bad sign. There's our bike rider, and there's her bike. Well, it looks like a mountain bike, sort of a mountain bike, so +1 for the mountain bike. But, you know, I would say probably not the gear to be wearing for mountainous mountain bike type activity. And lads, keep an eye on this fella. He's standing in a bush staring at you. That's not a good sign. Right, so being serious now, what they are doing now is they are working on the patient. They're stabilising the patient, assessing any medical needs. This is HEMS, so it's taking the expertise of a hospital, that kind of emergency care, a doctor to the patient in the field, doing what can be done in the field, and then potentially bringing the patient back to the hospital for the rest of it. So yeah, it takes a while. There is some work to be done. We will just lock off the head tracking for a moment. There we go. So, 43 years female, accident with bicycle involved. I'm not so sure. I think the guy in the bushes might have something to do with it. No rescue vehicles on location. RAF to the rescue. Symptoms, abdominal pain. I should say so. And then if we go to medical diagnostic page, we can see a bit more detail here. So Beatrice Soto is 43 years old. She's had a bicycle accident on a cycleway. Diagnosis ACS. Status upon medical arrival responsive. That means she's awake, which is always a good sign. Patient assigned emergency code 2. So code 1, immediate risk of death. Ooh. Code 2, immediate risk of serious injury. It might be all. And code 3 is no risk to life. Don't be such a baby. And then we've got patient conditions, which gives you a bit more detail. You've got a life score of 0, which is don't need us anymore, that's for sure, and 100, which is do not waste the RAF's time with your little cut finger. You don't need us. Now that they've connected her up, we've got a heart rate 34 beats per minute, which is a little bit worrying. Oxygen saturation level 96.5. Yeah, that heart rate is a tad worrying. Right, quick look over here. Everything's okay. Nothing untoward is happening there. He's coming back. He's probably coming back for the stretcher, I should think. Either that or he's coming back. Where's he gone? Has he gone back for a... Hang on a minute. Where's he gone? I was going to say he's gone for a pee in the woods, but looking... Oh, there's the A9. Don't want that. Follow the sound. There we go. He's come to get the stretcher. Okay, let's jump back in. Quick sound check. Can you hear me? Is the helicopter too loud, as Platty was saying? Do I need to turn it down a bit? I don't know why it would be different tonight than it was the other night, but sometimes things change. If anyone could possibly give me a sound check in the chat, that would be much appreciated. Good God, heart rate 27 beats per minute. Lads, I think we're going to have to move quickly on this one. I'm not a doctor. Brilliant, thank you Sky. Engine's a bit loud, okay. So I can turn that down a bit. If we are in idle at the moment, so it's going to be a bit quieter anyway, but keep me posted, chaps. Let me know. Centurion! A Centurion hoves into view. Now this chap, I should say he wouldn't normally fly with his doors open, but because I've got my doors open, I can see his doors open, so that's why we're seeing that. Thank you Sky, perfect. If at any point anyone feels that the motor is a little bit too quiet, then give me a shout. Okay, we will accept that. So we're going to Raigmore, so that's Inverness. That's fine. That keeps us in the north. That's still getting the patient. Don't know if you're in the chat, Centurion, but good to have you along, mate. Nice to see you up here. Centurion is lucky enough. If it's the same Centurion, of course one must never assume there could be more than one Centurion. But if it's the Centurion I'm thinking of, he lives up here. Okay, so the engines are still loud. There he is. So, is it the collective view that I need to okay, so they're okay now. Yeah, brilliant. Thank you, guys. Obviously something's changed in my settings to wind the volume up on the sim. So I shall leave that where it is. So this is what I was talking about simulating time. It's literally, it is that kind of hurry up and wait kind of thing. We've flown here. We're now waiting for the medical crew to do their thing, and then as soon as they get back on board, we're going to have to get to the hospital pronto. Come on. Get the thick spot. Heart rate low. Oh. Well, patient's assigned emergency code 2. So, I guess the doctor... There we go. Come on. Get her on board. Okay, let's do a quick look. So, let me... So this is where we are now. We started off at Feshiebridge here. We've flown down to this point here. And now we're going to head up to Regmore Hospital, which is there. Okay, let's remember to get the stream back on. There we go. Yeah, the
Cabin secured, ready to fly.
The ground details, Sky, are absolutely astounding. I love flying helicopters in 2024. I don't bother with the, you know, with the career mode and all that kind of stuff. He said something else. But for doing this kind of stuff, it's brilliant. Okay, so patient on board. Let's have both engines to flight now. Quick check over here. You behave yourself. Okay, that's all good. Centurion, how you doing, my friend? Okay, we are going. Quick check, where's the wind on the nose? Good, because that's how I came in. Pop over there. I mean, if you just look, I don't want to get distracted because I'm meant to be flying, but that small river running through there and the rocks and the trees, it's a little bit of heaven. This is why I'm addicted to flying in Scotland, because it's just such a beautiful area to fly in. Right, watch what you're doing. I was piling on the collective there, and also piling on the speed, which is a bad combo if you're not careful. We need to get some height in just to get us over the mountains there. Centurion, what are the name of the mountains over here? I've asked you this before. It's the mountain range. It's the it begins with an M, and it never pops into my mind, and I certainly can't pronounce it off the top of my head. Let's just come around here. Thank you, Binky. Yes, I am going to do some Warbird streaming as well. I've got to get back in the Warbirds. I've got so rusty in the Spitfire now. It's just unbelievable.
500.
But I just, it's, and I wasn't planning to do this, but it's just so nice just to jump in the sim, do some HEMS missions and stream it. It's just, it's kind of relaxed in a funny sort of way. But just keeping an eye on the instruments there, keeping a nice climb in, keeping some speed on, but just wanting to get across these mountains here. That's it. Monolith. I'm going to learn how to pronounce that at some point. Thank you, Centurion. Stu, okay. So we have just left an area in the middle of nowhere just south of Kingussie, and we are heading to Regmore Hospital in Inverness. So depending on what you're flying, you could spawn in at EGZL Feshiebridge, but it might be easier if you, I don't know, maybe spawn in it perhaps Inverness. By the time you've loaded in, we'll be nearer there, I guess. I think that's not far off how it's spelt, mate. That looks very familiar. Black Sheep Gene. Well, I can see by your name why you'd want to fly Pappy Boynton's Corsair. There is the there's the Milvers, but they're not called Milvers anymore, are they? They're Blackbird. There's the Blackbird Corsair, but I'll be completely honest with you, I've not flown it in 2024. I'm trying to think, is there anyone in the stream who has flown the Corsair in 2024 that can report back on how it's doing? Right, let's have the autopilot on, because we can do that in this helicopter, and we will put it onto, there we go. So we're now coupled with the mission map. Quick check, altitude's good. Just put on a little bit more speed. Let's have a look at. Okay. That's where we have to be a little bit careful. I don't know if it's a 2024 thing or maybe it's just the way it is in the helicopter, but if you, as we are, if you're going quite fast and you're on autopilot mode and you do any kind of altitude changes or speed changes, you can very quickly overtalk. So I'm just using the cyclic hat switch to just nudge the speed forward a bit. See those red lines? That's what I'm trying to. There we go. We'll leave it there, I think. Right. How is our patient doing in the back? Heart rate still low. Patient assigned emergency code is 2. Patient conditions is 60. I'm just going to leave it on that page actually, just so we can keep an eye on it. What that really is kind of simulating is the chaps in the back telling you how the patient's doing. There's an excellent on YouTube. There's an excellent series called ITV Rescue, and it's from the late 80s, and they've got most of the episodes on there. And it's the Sea Kings out of Lossiemouth, and through each episode you get a really good idea of different weather conditions and also some of the different shouts that they used to go out on. Obviously we're different. We're a civilian HEMS modern day helicopter, obviously, and we're just sporting the 202 Squadron colours in respect to those guys. When I was younger, much younger, and lived at RAF Lossiemouth, I sat in one of the Sea Kings. I don't think it was this one, but it was a wonderful experience. And I proceeded to ask the pilot, being a young brat, what he thought the best attack profile was for an Apache helicopter. And even at that age, I could tell that he was just like, oh God, here we go. You never know. Oh, catch up with the chat. Thought Tower was going to be released. Gazelle, my favourite. Oh, Shoestring. Obviously, don't want to pry into your experience, but were you helicopters by any chance? Because I too would love a Gazelle. I fly the Llama because it's the closest thing to a Gazelle that isn't a Gazelle, but it's got that similar kind of thing about it. Well, it's nothing like it, but you know what I mean. But yeah, I would love a Gazelle. Binky, a mosquito. Yeah,
Watch out! Reduce collective now!
Okay, there we go. Emergency action. So what has happened there? There we go, we've got control back, everything's good. Don't panic. I can only imagine that we got a gust of wind or something like that. We got a gust of wind or something like that, and it just tipped the balance and meant that we were suddenly over talking. If you don't act quickly, then it all goes horribly pear-shaped. So I'm just going to bring that speed back. Come on, stop misbehaving. The speed is very sensitive when it comes to over-talking it. You can see that gauge just to the left of it where we've got the numbers and the red lines. That's kind of showing how much pitch we're pulling, and where the red lines come in is where it can all go wrong. There we go. How's the patient? Yeah, no change there, that's good. That will change, by the way, or it can change. It can change for the better, but also it can change for the worse. But she seems to be doing alright. She's hanging in there, bless her. Right, I engage AP with VSL Nicole. It makes for a smooth transition to AP engagement. Just taking over the I'll start with fine-tuning settings. Yeah, that's exactly what I do, Sky. I put it onto Alt heading IAS, and then couple it up to the if I need to, couple it up to the map, and then it's nice and smooth. Yeah, exactly. I'm doing exactly the same. I've got just on the hat switch here, I've got push to the right, puts those three on at the same time, and the push to the left takes everything off. So it's nice and easy. And then on other, I've got the hover, was it GTCH on another switch, so I can do those. Oh, okay. V speed instead of alt. Okay. Yeah, no, I definitely start off at. I start off with alt. Just a quick check down there. Yeah, Sky. I think the over talking thing is. I think it's perhaps a bit of a bug, something going on in the sim. I think I don't remember it being quite so sensitive in 2020, but I might be wrong. And I did hear somewhere someone was saying something about their helicopters in 2024. There's almost a little bit too much torque, or the torque reaction is too aggressive. And I think maybe that's what's happening there, because we were flying along quite happily, and then something changed. Something changed our collective setting. Well, the autopilot changed the collective setting, but something caused that to happen. and then all the bells started clanging. Let's have a look outside. Look at that. Isn't she beautiful? There's Centurion. It's a shame, but Asobo still haven't got it set up so the rotors turn on multiplayer, which is such a shame. But lovely to have another 202 Squadron helicopter along. Just look at that scenery, it's insane. Absolutely insane. Doobie-doo. I can see Doobie-doo. It gets twitchy when it has to hold Alt and IS at the same time. Okay, interesting. Interesting. So how did you? I'm just trying to think. So I can't remember what the proper name for it is in this thing. I've just got from the hype mapping chart. That's what I've got my autopilot. So my Alt Nav IS higher function button is mapped to something, and I can't remember what it is. So have they got another similar command that gives you VS instead of Alt? Hey Stu, I thought that might be you. Right, let's. I'll use the collective beep trim now, just to bring us down. When I first started flying the H145, I never flew autopilot. I just flew all the time with the cyclic release on because I wanted to hand fly it and learn how to fly it before I started using autopilot. But quite rightly, a real world pilot did say to me, you do realise that we use the autopilot an awful lot. That's kind of the point of having it there, is that it's a modern helicopter. So I do try and use it. Oh, and back, I meant to say this, back when we stopped off to pick up the casualty, I kept the engines running. It's really interesting. I've had one real world pilot in the UK say that if the medical crew were going to be working on the patient for a reasonable amount of time, they would close the engines down. But I've had A320 who's based in the States was saying no, you keep those engines running and then you're ready to go as quickly as possible, which I thought was quite interesting. Yeah, so I assigned my main button for AP engage to VS hold, heading hold, and IS hold. Have you done that in? Is that in something like in SPAD Next, or is there actually a? You know what I'm talking about, where you've got the hype chart, and it shows you the functions in the H145 and what Microsoft Flight Simulator control setting you need to match up to it. Is that one of those? Have you done that in SPAD Next, Guy? Yes, Horner, you need to get the H145 in. It's a work of art. Tell me, is there any advice you can give me on taking off in the Spitfire warbirds generally to prevent veering off the runway? Yes. Yes. The key to it is this is dangerous because now I'm thinking about Spitfires and trying to just bear with me. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. And I'm going to take it off autopilot now. Oh, wrong one.
Hands on.
That's interesting.
Alt A crossing.
2
Wow.
nautical miles from the hospital.
Pilot played up then just to show off. Yeah, the key is to don't whack in a lot of power at the same time, and you're going to be gently increasing the power and also using the rudders A little bit of nose down trim helps to bring the tail up gently. And just remember, you've got to keep working the rudders to keep it going straight. Yeah. Gentle on the power. I normally, in the Flying Iron book, it says, I think it says +6 boost for takeoff. So I tend to use anywhere between 4 and 6. To be honest, somewhere like Duxford, +4 boost will get you off the ground nicely. It doesn't use a huge amount of torque, so it's a good way of getting into it. Right, I don't know if you can see it, but the landing pad is just ahead. It's in amongst those buildings. A couple of things we have to be careful of. There's a golf course there, and then somewhere around there is a bloody great big.
We are
oh, there it
the
is.
landing site.
No, there's a big mast. There's a big mast
500.
Big mast on the nose, but there's also one to the left. So just need to be careful of that. You can see the windsock. Concentrate a bit. Coming over the car park. Careful of the building. Sight of the roof of that building. Don't want to come in too low over the car park, set off all those car alarms and upset people. It's bad enough having to come to hospital as it is without some idiot flying in right over your noggin. Silly.
Rear crew, prepare for ground
Done
operations.
now is there we go. Done it again. Getting distracted. It's very easy. Very easy to suddenly lose.
Nice touch, cowboy.
Cowboy? Good God, man! This is the RAF. I've never heard him say cowboy before. Good God, what's the world coming to? Right. Let's just lock off the. There we go. Come on, lock off the head tracking. There we go. Doesn't always do it first time for some reason. Right. So there they come. They're coming to get the Passion, if they don't stay in Scotland. Passion, that's not even a word. If there's anyone French in the stream, I do apologise for that. What is the, if there is anyone who is French in the stream, what is the French word for patience? If you can put it in the chat, please, that would be marvellous. Yes, Binky, that's all I can say is just keep practicing at it, mate. I, as you probably saw from the video, it's been so long since I've flown the Spitfire. My issue was mainly with actually doing a nice curved approach and an accurate landing. So I've got to do some practice there. Come on, come back. Right, so they're going off there. Let's get the thing open. So what's happening now is that if we turn, there they go. So my lads are now going off into the hospital with the patient and the hospital staff to do the paperwork, to do the handover, to say to the doctor, you know, we found them, we gave them lots of adrenaline and we gave them lots of hobnobs. That might sound a bit bizarre if you're outside of the UK and you don't know what a hobnob is. It's a chocolate biscuit. It's a chocolate biscuit, all right? Nothing else. And then the doctor knows what drugs they've had and all that kind of stuff. Look at that. Isn't it beautiful? Another 202 Squadron helicopter. So, if I was sitting here on my Todd and I didn't have people watching and wondering what the hell do we do now while they go and do the paperwork, you could literally just leave it to simulate the full process. But I'm conscious that you don't want to sit here while they go and do paperwork. So, what we're going to do now is press skip paperwork, which magically brings the lads back. He's playing it cool. He's thinking, look, just because you call me back, I'm not going to jump. So he's pretending to look at the car park. That's a purposeful walk.
Cabin secured, ready to fly.
So lads are back on board, and now we are going to take our next mission. What have we got now? 56 years, male, responsive. A person is injured after falling from a cliff. Rescue operations. Oh, rescue operations may require specialist rescuers. Okay, so what this basically means is this is kind of cool. I like this. It means that we've got to go and pick up someone from the mountain rescue team, basically. So that's all good. Everything's okay down there. Collective is down. Engines are still.
We are securing the equipment.
In idle.
Stand by.
Due
Due to impervious conditions of the accident site, we should evaluate to call on board expert heli-rescuers. Use the tablet to decide if we continue alone or if we take the heli-rescuers on board.
So we're going to get mountain rescue. Accident location is 27.36 miles away. We've got to pick up mountain rescue at 2402 nautical miles, and they are 5.41 nautical miles from the casualty. Blooming marvellous. See, this is what it's all about. The Royal Air Force does not mess about when it comes to having the mountain rescue. Platty, are you in the 222B, or is it just funny model matching? But that is one of the prettiest helicopters ever. Isn't she beautiful? Look at that. They didn't choose that for Airwolf for nothing. Okay, engine's coming back up. Everything's within limits. Happy? Happy? Yeah, he's happy in the back with his blue headphones. Blue headphones and sunglasses, standard RAF issue. Let's get the... There we go. Right, so we've got a building behind us, we've got the wind ahead of us, so I'm going to take off into wind, and then we can head back round to head to the next shout. How's the sound now? Is the sound still okay?
VTOS.
Yes, Guy, you're absolutely right. The
VY.
Scout is not pretty. I must admit, I never bought it. People kept saying to me I should, but I never got it. It just didn't appeal to me. How shallow I am. But I love the, for my vintage kind of rotary version of the Spitfire vibes, I like flying the Huey and the Llama. I also love the 500E, but it's the H145 for doing this kind of stuff. So there we go. Just checking, we've got a blue line on the route, so that's all connected up nicely. There we go. Okay, Scarlett. So I'm just going back to your message about the autopilot thing. I'll have a look at that. I didn't see an assignment for that combination of the three, but I'll have a look because I think that's probably quite useful, especially if it gives you a more smooth transition. To be fair, these days, going on to Alt Nav IAS mode, the transition is all right. I must admit, I know that there were issues initially, but I certainly haven't noticed any issues with it not being smooth when I go into that mode. It just seems to, unless you're, but then I tend to go into it when I'm flying at a level stabilized attitude anyway, rather than whacking on in a climb. I need to get a spanner out for my Virpil chair mount. These things keep coming loose on it. So when you say you assign them yourself, did you do that? Is that using SPAD Next, or you're using one button for 3 different control assignments in the sim? Thank you, Buzzy. You go for it. If you can get a few quid out of Airbus for that, I think you're onto a winner. Time for a slurp of tea. Let's keep the climb in. So we're at VY. So we keep a nice climb in. Established on course, 20 nautical miles away. But we're going to have to pick up our heli rescuer first. Good old mountain rescue. I'm actually quite pleased this is happening because there is a last time I had to pick up mountain rescue, something didn't quite go to plan. So I'm interested to see how that plays out. It's got to be said, this is a free mod, and Andrea, who, as I said at the start, is a real-world Airbus helicopter flying instructor, put so much work into this mod. He's always tweaking it, he's always changing it, and it's so complicated that things don't always kind of go to plan. It's quite nice as well doing this kind of thing, just to test it, and if anything doesn't quite work right, just to say to him, oh, by the way, saw this didn't quite work, and then he can kind of log it, and if it's not down to the idiot human who was doing the flying, then he can do something about it. He's also got a really good Discord for the mod, which I'm pretty sure is in the video description. I think I put everything down there. So I'm just using the the collective trims hat switch just to bump up the climb there, just to keep us going. I could use VS for this, but I'd probably forget, and we just go sailing to the moon. Okay, 1 button for 3 different control assignments in the hype settings. Okay. can just see on our TDS GTNX side down there, we've got terrain warning just come up, which is quite handy. The sound is coming, or the sound would be coming from the Unit 1. But that's what I've inhibited, because otherwise it drives you absolutely potty. Shouting at you. Because we're in a
500.
We're in a mountainous area. You can also get that information on the middle MFD there, on that map. You can see H-tools down at the bottom right, but I haven't loaded the data set. You need to download the data set from HPG, and I haven't done that yet. Let's keep the climb in, because we're about to hit the wind farm. And their rotors are bigger than mine, so I ain't going to argue with them. Let's just lock that off a second while I'm bobbing my head around like an idiot. There we go. Keep the climb in. I'm just going to pop it in here again in case you've just joined. I'll just put the Discord link here in the chat. Keep the climb in. I mean, look at that detail in the scenery, for crying out loud. It's incredible. And Scotland seems to be exceptionally sharp. When we were flying in Norway the other day, it was a little bit, it seemed a little bit grainy, blurry in the area that we were in, but this is so damn sharp. Look at that. Is that... Oh, they're rocks. I thought for a minute then I was seeing things. I thought we had a couple of stags on the road that were kind of baked into the photo scenery, but it wasn't. It was a couple of rocks. I definitely need to make another cup of tea if I'm seeing stags when there aren't stags. Lordy mercy. Right, quick look at the Discord, see what's going on. I was just seeing your comments about the Comanche, Muzz. Yeah, the Comanche is very special, and it's another one of those aircraft that I feel guilty for not flying enough. I was actually going to do a live stream this week. I was going to I was going to renew my Say Intention subscription and do some ATC IFR big boy stuff. But I got seduced by yellow helicopters and saving virtual lives and all that. It's sure and interesting. I've just noticed the live stream on YouTube is slightly behind the sim multiplayer. Yeah, there's so YouTube, there's always a slight delay, which is where I've been caught out before. So I've got on my screens over here, I've got my OBS screen, which is what's happening now, and then I've got a YouTube screen, which is what's happening on YouTube, and it's always a little bit behind. So yeah, you will have a bit of a lag if you're flying along. So yeah, don't fly off the YouTube screen. Fly off your own screen, because otherwise it can get a bit tricky. Cheers, Sky. Thanks for joining, mate. Oh, okay, you're in The Hague. Yeah, you're, what is it, 1 hour ahead, I think, something like that. 1 hour, 2 hours. Thanks for joining. It's been fun having you along, mate, and have a good night. Right, quick check there. We're okay on that mountain. We can put in a bit more speed now. Where are we? 8 minutes out. Going to skim over the top in true dramatic fashion. So we're actually heading back to the same area that we were in before.
500.
Which is quite nice. Insane detail. It's a shame, the actual Cairngorm Mountain area, there's just one section of it, and I know Cairngorm means Blue Mountain or something like that, but the shadow and the light when the satellite or whatever it was took the photograph means that in the sim it has like a bluish tinge, and when you get up close it's almost like you're flying next to a mountain made of cobalt, which is a shame. But out here it just looks stunning. Do a bit of fly fishing down there. Right, let's concentrate on what we're doing. Come on. We need to... Well,
500.
Yeah, I think... Let's get some height. So this is our heli rescuer, I hope.
500.
And that's where we need to fly to for our casualty. Cheers, Binky. Up at 4:30. My God, I salute you, sir. It's been a long time since I've had to get up at 4:30, although apparently it's meant to be very good for your constitution. Let's there we go. Keep that climbing. Looking down there, it says red, but we're going to miss it. There we are. Everyone is all right. Yeah, beautiful. Yes, Binky. When the alarm goes off at 4:30, what you're meant to do is you're meant to feel refreshed, and the peace of the world at that time is meant to make you in tune with yourself and all that kind of stuff. And you're meant to jump in a bucket full of ice cold water. Does something to your chakras or something like that. Certainly don't need to be dunking my chakras in any kind of ice cold water at 4:30 in the morning. Thank you very much. There's some things I just won't do. Look at that, for crying out loud. How realistic is that? This sim is crazy. I said it on the stream the other night. Sometimes I'm tempted to
500.
Reinstall P3D just to fly the A2A P51 and the T6, which I sorely miss. For warbird flying, my God, they were the pinnacle, along with the Spitfire as well. But I just cannot fly in the P3D world now, having been spoilt by this. It's yeah, it's a shame really. So I used to spend so much time in P3D and thought it was amazing. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Okay, right. So we are 2 minutes out. We're picking up mountain rescue. It looks like they're going to be next to the road. Aviemore. Looks like they're at Kingussie, so it's probably the Cairngorm mountain rescue team themselves. Speed's good, happy with that. Probably a little bit on the slow side if I'm honest. I'm going to knock off the autopilot now. So override on, there we go. And then I'll hand flyers in. We can have a look.
2 nautical miles from pickup location.
What's the time? 10:30? Is it 10:30? Yeah. It's not too bad. There's still plenty of time. We could keep flying till Binky gets up at 4:30.
$500.
Just being careful. We've got quite a rate of descent in, and I need to watch the speed, because if the speed comes off too slow with that high rate of descent, we could get into a VRS situation, which is rather painful.
Rear crew, we are approaching the landing site.
Right, let's see if we can pick up our mountain rescue chaps. Sometimes there's a vehicle. I think that might be them there. How nice of them. They've chosen to meet us in a big old field. Well done, lads. You are true professionals. There they go. There's their truck. Right, where's the wind? Wind is there. Let's fold away the table. Place your devices in the pocket in the back of the front seat.
We will be first on scene.
Slow, not too much.
This was a very good touch.
Right, lads. Get on board. Chap there pretending to be
Rear
a
crew,
scarecrow.
prepare for ground operations.
You can lower your arms now, mate. We're down. There's Platty. And look, I mean, look at that. Is that not just a beautiful design for a helicopter? Stunning. Absolutely stunning.
Helicopter in position. Rear crew,
Cabin
you are
secured,
clear to start
ready to fly.
operations.
Right, here we go. So it looks like we're just taking one mountain rescue on board. Hop on, lad. Yeah, just the one. Right, you sat sitting. Okay, let's get engines to flight. Yeah, I don't know why, Platty, but for some reason model matching is totally screwed in 24. At least it's got you in the right helicopter. The other night I had people in helicopters that I'd got, but they were appearing as Moonies and Bonanzas. formation takeoff there, lads. One of the great things about
VY.
doing this kind of flying as well, of course, is it's a good way to practice your skills and give you a reason for doing it rather than just picking some random field for no reason. Detail, my god, sorry, getting distracted. Yeah, flying this kind of stuff is fun because it gives you a purpose, but also it's a great way to practice those skills, because sometimes they'll you know, you're landing or you're hovering or doing something, winching, where you're doing all your bits and bobs. Haha, Lewis, this is 24, mate. I try and do most of my helicopter flying in 24 now, just because the ground scenery is so much better. And famous last words, but everything generally seems to be working quite well with the helicopters. I don't do career mode or anything like that, because I'm only really interested in doing this HEMS stuff, which is driven by the mod, so I don't need career mode to be able to do that, and I don't have to work through all the licenses to get to the point where I can finally do what I want to do, if you see what I mean.
I set a possible hospital destination for our patient. Infos are available on tablet. We can confirm or change later.
Joel, how you doing? Okay, so a little bit slowed up chatting there. We are meant to be tending to an emergency, so we'll get a bit more speed back on. All good, thank you, mate. All good. Oh, a bit of a long stutter in the sim there. I hate it when it does that. I was having technical issues a few weeks ago, and when it did that, it was the precursor to everything in 5-10 seconds later crashing. So that red line there is the kind of bounds of our search area, so we're now kind of in search mode, as it were. And the great thing again about this mod is it's so blooming clever. Our crew are going to help us out. Obviously we're, as the pilot, we're keeping an eye on doing the pilot thing, but our crew are going to keep a lookout as well. So I'm going to fly to the centre of our search area, which is the last known position, and then from there we will just have a scout around and see what we can find. I seem to remember it said that he'd fallen off a cliff, so that should be a clue, unless he's rolled a long way. But I can see there's the A9 up ahead. We're just going to cross over it again. There's some quite steep hillsides there. There's the last known position. See if we can see anything. The crew always spot them before I do. To be honest, it's quite hard flying and looking for little moaning people in hedgerows. Okay, so no ping from over the target, but what I am going to do, because they said it was falling down a cliff, I'm going to fly to the edge of the search area. So we'll come back over to the A9, and then I'm going to come back round and we'll fly along the base of this cliff, because that seems like a logical place to start, doesn't it? So just giving us plenty of space. lads, keep your ears peeled. Bleeding heck, fella. Wrong sensory function. If we were in a submarine, that would work, but we're in a helicopter. Eyes is what we need. So we're just going to fly along here. Because my spider senses tell me this is where we're going to find them. And if not on this side, maybe on the other side. Okay, Stu. Hey, A320. Good to see you. Should say A320 is the next real-world HEMS pilot in the States. So no pressure at all on this idiot here doing what he's doing. Right, well, we've not picked anything up there, so I'm going to scoot. We'll scoot on the other side of this, just on the off chance that it's on a cliff on the other side of this hill here. This might end up being a hoist job, which is good because then that gives us a bit of practice doing that. Jap, I'm using the sorry. Talking and concentrating at the same time is not one of my strong points. There's some lovely cliffs here. I'm using the Grass Monkey King Puck, and it works a treat. Can highly recommend it. I've had two eye trackers. Sorry, I've had two track IRs over the years, which are great, but that's quite expensive now. So I bought this as a cheaper alternative because I saw it on Sky Lounge stream. Edson was talking about it. I've tried Toby and just couldn't get on with it. With my setup, I think because I sit quite far away from the screen, it just didn't work. I tried it on a mini tripod. Didn't have a good experience with it, to be honest. So I sold it on eBay. And I'm just still using the Grass Monkey, and it's just great. It really works really well. Where's this cliff here? Don't you dare stutter. So I'm just trying to find logical, based on the description, logical areas to look at first before we start just doing a wider pattern. Download the RF skip. Thank you for that. About yeah, it's a really nice livery, and I've got to thank Guy, who's not in the stream but in the Discord. He's Hugonator. I think I just happened to mention in the Discord that I was looking for a I think I said I wished I had an RAF Sea King livery, and he said there is one, and pointed out to me, and it's beautiful, and the fact that it was at Lossiemouth as well is just a bonus. Right, so we've not picked anything up there. Let's go over this way. It just seemed a bit logical when it said cliff, but at least we've looked at the obvious points. Low level go around for FOD on the runway. Good God! How did the passengers take it? I'm assuming that was real rather than simulated, by the way, 320. Just going to have a look at this cliff here. This is right on the edge of the search zone. The scenery is just so damn beautiful. Yeah, good answer. I mean, there's a good example of the detail. So you've got that rock face there, and then underneath it you've got that scree. Oh, it's amazing. This is an amazing simulator for doing this kind of stuff. Right, okay, let's come over this way. All the fly fishermen down there be saying, "Get your bloody helicopter out of the way. You're scaring the fish away." So you can see on the display tablet we've got our track history and we've got the circle. So I'm just following that. Just going to an area that we haven't been to. Interesting, we've got the crosshair with the dot on it. Which may or may not be pointing us to something. It shouldn't really be pointing us to anything because we're meant to find it by our own way, but it could be that that's come up because it has sensed something. Oh, maybe it's just where the centre of the... Yeah, it's just where the... No, it's not. I was going to say it's just pointing at the last known position, but it's not. It's actually down here. I feel like it's... Maybe we've just not had anything from the crew. Let's follow the dot.
I believe we found something. Check on tablet.
There we go.
Target is in front of us. Yes, confirmed. We found our target.
Yeah, so the crew have got there, so we're going to go to...
Rear crew, prepare for hoist operation.
We have to hoist 3 to ground. Helen Westwood will be the first to clear the area.
Okay, so... So I think the best thing is if I drop the chaps down there. This does actually have a very handy hover mode indicator, which I haven't got on. I'm just going to... Oh, is it that one? There it is. I've forgotten which of my controls I've got set up for Hover Autopilot.
We are too far.
Yeah, we drifted a bit with me trying to get that control.
We are too high.
So I'm just going to bring us around a bit. Using the hat switch now to control the autopilot hover mode, just to swing us over a bit. And while I'm still messing about with that, see our...
We are too high. We are reasonably close.
That's alright, mate.
Set hover appropriately.
I'm just trying to get you over there a bit so you don't have to walk so far. Gentle descent now. I will catch up with the chat in a second, by the way, guys.
We are too high.
I'm just trying to get us in a better position at the moment.
We are too high.
too bothered about being too high at this stage.
Position is good.
Okay.
Hold position.
Holding! Let's jump outside.
Operator is getting hooked. Hold position. Hoist.
There he goes. So we're dropping off 3. We've got mountain rescue and then we've got our 2 medical staff. So there's one. Where's your mate? Oh, good old RAF levitation going on again. Just resting now, I just saw we were climbing slightly. And again, like I said before, this is simulating time. So we've got another 2 to go, but they're obviously just getting ready to go down. Go on, fella, don't jump. Yeah, A320, I can't wait to see what you think of it. I think I said the other night there was a, on the old Discord, there was a chap who was H145 HEMS out of Inverness, and he was quite impressed by the simulation. Obviously, it's a simulation on a computer at home. It's not a professional simulator or anything like that, but he was quite impressed by it, so interested to see what you think. Cheers, Muzzy. Thanks for coming along. Oh, sorry, it was Centurion. Sorry, didn't see that. I don't know if you're still on, but have a good night, old boy. Watching that. Golfers at St Andrews used to moan about the noise of the tornado jets. Now the RF is left to be replaced by the Army Chinooks. They will. Do you know what? It's funny. The where I am now, we get a lot of Chinooks. And it's a very distinctive kind of noise, and I actually kind of like it, especially at night. In the summer, you've got the windows open and you hear them flying low nearby, and it's quite the sound. You need to make your mind up, fella. Pop outside again. Let me try something. There we go. If I put it in that mode, at least if I need to, I can control it. By the way, if anyone remembers the Muppet Show, what does that remind you of? That face there. What does that remind you of? Or am I the only one? Right, the co-pilot has just vanished, so I presume he's... There he goes. The co-pilot has decided he wants to go down as well, so he's the other crew member that's going down.
Hoist is running down.
Lewis, I love you, man. Making a chicken sandwich and a mug of tea. Spot on. Spot on, lad.
Hold position.
H20, I've never saw anything on the ground. Are you looking for something or just crew call out? So I was looking, but I didn't see it, but the crew called it out. If I'm a bit loath to leave the helicopter, yeah, it seems to be alright. So the casualty, I don't know if we'll be able to see it. The casualty is over in the woods somewhere. Just pop in a second. Just want to monitor.
Hoist is clear. Hook is in. Hook boom is retracted. You are free to leave.
Oh, A320, I've got another question for you coming up. Where they go? Right, let's see if we can follow them. So they're going in this direction. Oh, there we go. So there's the casualty in its blue jumpsuit. I guess it was the mountain rescue that got out first. So if I now come up, there you can see how difficult that was to spot. So I was busy aviating. Get back in the cockpit. I was busy aviating, and the crew called him out, which is brilliant. Cheers, Plassy. Good to have you along, mate. The crew called, and that's one of the amazing things about this this mod. We are in range for hoist operations. Okay, that's okay. It's fine. One of the amazing things about this mod is that it kind of simulates so much detail that the crew won't give you call outs in terms of you know, tail rotor clearance, main rotor clearance, sticking their heads out, looking at the ground as you come down, that sort of thing. But they will look for casualties for you, which is great, because otherwise, frankly, you'd be stuffed. You'd be there for hours trying to, you know, trying to find it. So it's a wonderful little feature. Faux show. Lewis, can you do us a favour, mate? Can you make me a brew? If we were on the ground, I'd be tempted to quickly go make one, but right, that's it. That reminds me. A320 question for you. Did you do any hoisting when you were doing HEMS? Lewis, you know I don't have it without milk, fella. Having tea without milk is just sacrilege. Oh, okay. I was going to ask you a bit of a technical geeky question. See, normally I would, and forgive an amateur, but I would at this stage, because we're hovering and we're using so much energy to stay in hover, I would probably be flying off and using some transitional lift rather than just purely grinding the rotors with the engine to hover. So I'm kind of probably doing this wrong, but I was just going to ask you what you would have done. Just have a feeling at any minute they're going to want us to winch them back up again. So yeah, a good example of onward thing. Doctor is preparing patient. Oh, here we go. So they were just saying they were preparing the patient, and now they've told us to get back to the hoist point. We is at the hoist point.
Position.
You lads, don't you worry about me being at the hoist point. You just get your asses over here. Estimated ground operation
Stand
time
by.
2 minutes.
Hoisting preparations are in progress and nearing completion. Set hover conditions.
I'm in hover
Hold
conditions.
position.
So this is Gunnar Burns, 56 years
Hoist
male.
3 to helicopter.
Fallen from a cliff. He's responsive, which is good, and patient assigned emergency code 3, so he's got no risk to life, and he's got a life score of 66, 104 beats per minute heart rate, and oxygen saturation 97.1%. So this boy is not in bad shape at all, unlike the poor lass that we picked up before, whose heart rate was almost non-existent. So this is quite good. And let's have the map. Map, please. Get rid of the POI. Let's have a look at that. Can we see our chaps? There they are. Come on, lads. Come on. Waiting for the loadie to open the door. He's too busy having his Twix. Yes, I would not stay there as you are going to be bored with an engine failure, but I'm not. I'm bored with an engine failure, but I'm not a winch guy. That's probably anything. So obviously interesting. Okay, yeah. No, I agree with you. I think ordinarily I would fly around a little bit when I'm doing this. But the fact that I'd suddenly realised I was sat sitting made me ask the question.
Hoist is running on. Personnel is getting hooked.
burning fuel to stay in one spot. Hang on a minute. The weight on the winch meant that we were just dropping a little bit. So I'm just adjusting the collective. Where's it taking? There we go. There we are.
Hoist is up. Personnel is strapped in.
Come on, chap, get on board. South Tyrrell.
Hoist is running down.
I bet that is rather lovely, team player.
Hoist is running up. Personnel is getting hooked.
A bell is ringing about a quite a well-known bagpipe
Personnel
tune
is strapped in.
with South Tyrrell. But I'm not going to hum it. Although it would be rather splendid to be playing it. A good old military marching band version of it right now. Even though you are twin engine and power failure on only, it's going to be a problem for me. You might have that. Yeah, I agree. We're not quite high enough for it to the height to be of any use, really, are we? If it all went pear-shaped. Let's have a quick look outside. Where are we? Okay, we're not just checking what we were doing in terms of sinking or. Here's our famous levitating. I guess this must be the Doctor. Look at that. And from the woods he did come, gliding on celestial wings, over the purple heather. He approached the spot, and he was summoned to the heavens by the mighty winch.
Hoist is running down.
Some nice solid hovering there, doobie-doo. Right, winch is going down again. What are you posting, mate? Let's have a look.
Hoist is running up. Personnel is getting hooked.
Oh, look at that. That's a sandwich, mate. That is a sandwich, although your tea, yeah, I don't know. That's all wrong. You don't need much milk. And I mean
Hoist
that.
is up.
I like
Personnel
tea. I like the tea bag to be been in there for about an hour or so, and then just a tiny splash of milk, not a load of milk, just a
Hook is in.
tiny splash of milk.
Hook is retracted. You are free to leave hover.
Okay, right, where are we? That's all good. Blah 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 blah
Cabin
blah.
secured. Ready to fly.
So what it's saying there is go back to meeting point, which is the taking the mountain rescue chap back home. That's interesting. That's interesting. So where was he? He was over here somewhere, wasn't he? It's not on the map now. Oh, there it was. Yeah. So what we'll do is we're going to take, because I want to test something. So we're going to take Mountain Rescue Boy back to his base, which is go back to the meeting point, and then we'll head off to the hospital. But I'm just going to check on the condition of the patient first, because we don't want to. It's fallen from the clear for responsive code 3, so he's alright. So we're going to take our friend back. When I did this the other night, it didn't work. It locked up the mission, so I want to do this just to test how it's working. So, ready to concentrate. And autopilot off. Heading into wind. Over the A9. I mean, Christ, look at the detail on the A9. This 2024 is insane with the amount of detail. I think this is another reason why it's so addictive flying helicopters, because you get to enjoy all that detail. Once we get down and we put the engines into idle to drop off our mountain rescue friend, I'll have a quick look at what hospital it's heading to. Let's watch through and not over talking it. I have a nasty feeling. Ninewells Hospital. Okay. Yeah, I've got an awful feeling we're going to Dundee. Quite sure why it's decided to take us to Dundee, but we're going to assume that there's a good medical reason for it. Maybe Raigmore has said, here, we've already had that yellow helicopter here once today, we don't need him back again. Now we offer fuel. Tight on fuel, I'll be honest with you. Tight on fuel to go to Dundee. So what we're going to do, the kind chaps and chapesses at now I've lost my thing on the map. At the gliding club, always keep a few barrels of fuel for mountain rescue people like myself, so it does mean we're going to have to quickly pop to Feshiebridge and pick up some fuel.
HR, we are now approaching to the drop point. Thanks for the help and see you next time.
I love it. This is a free mod and the amount of detail and the little touches is insane. I'm using Kicker's realistic voice pack, by the way, which is adding to it hugely. And also, while I'm talking about what mods I've got, I'm also using the M. Gonzalez realistic H145
Rear crew, we are approaching the landing site.
sound pack as well. Where's the wind? Wind's behind us. I'm sure that's changed direction since we were here before. No, it hasn't. Wind's ahead in front of us. I'm losing my mind. Definitely need a cup of tea. Right, there's the mountain rescue truck. Let's fold away the table. Put your seats in an upright position. And hide the bottle of whiskey in your bag. One thing they definitely need to sort out in 2024 is this LOD thing with some objects popping in at the last minute. a little bit frustrating.
Nice touch, Captain.
Let you say that to all the pilots. Okay. On y va.
Rear crew, prepare for ground operations.
Okay, I want to get the... So it was at this point last time it all went wrong. So the engines are just
Helicopter in position. Rear
winded
crew,
down
you
in
are
idle.
clear to start operations.
Right, come on lads. Let's get rid of our... oh, he's getting out of that side. No? Oh, there he goes. He's getting out the other
Cabin
side.
secured, ready to fly.
Okay. So there we go. So it's got deboard heli rescuers ready for deboarding operations, but we have deboarded him, and there he is. So this is what happened before, but that's fine. We're going to carry on. Do we have... we've still got our route, so that's fine. I'm going to stick with that. But we need to get to... we need to get to Feshiebridge to get some fuel before we head off. Catch up with the chat. Yeah, A320, there was some flat stuff there for sure. It was just quite good to do some hoisting practice. Tend to neglect the hoisting once in a while. It's got rocket and cucumber, you posh boy. Love your tent. Oh. Right. Okay. So I fear we are going to be stuck with that deboarding heli rescuers message now until we get to the hospital. But I'm hoping that when we get to the hospital, the mission will continue. Sometimes it'll do this. It might get stuck. It might get stuck on a message on the tablet. But the fact that we had the shout from the crew saying that they were ready to fly, in my mind means that the mission is okay. The mission is deboarded. It's just the message on the tablet is remaining. And remember, as I said, this is a free mod with a lot of detail in it, so I'm quite happy to live with these little things. And I know it's something that Andrea is looking at anyway, because this is what happened the other day. So, as I say, we're going to go back to Feshiebridge, get some fuel on, and then we can head off to the hospital. T-Player, where did you find H145 repaints from S2002? Flight. Well, that's where it is. So the repaint that I'm flying here is listed as 2020, I think. Pretty sure it is. But I just, did the whole layout .json onto the layout generator exe, because there were a couple of weird things that were going on, and that did the trick. But there are some repaints that say 2024, 2020. To be honest, I would just find a repaint that you like and then see if it works. Simple as that. What you might find is that you two things. You might have to change the. Oh, yeah, it's too complicated to talk about here. There's a couple of things you might have to do. You might have to change the. Is it UA created by name to whatever the standard issue name is, or sometimes you have to go into your library in Marketplace in the sim, and you have to activate it through there. I didn't have to do that. For some reason it worked fine for me, but I know someone else reported on a video or in a Discord somewhere that they had to activate it in the Marketplace. Yeah, Discord definitely better. So there we go, there's Feshiebridge. Where's the wind? The wind is there. Let's close the tablet so we can see what we're doing. Out for the gliders. This is actually it's quite impressive. This is the standard Asobo scenery for Feshiebridge, and the fact they've got gliders here is quite clever. I did have a third-party scenery in 2020. Which I've not tried in this. Do you know what, actually? I think I'm telling porkies. I think I have got the third party in this. It's just that not all the bits and bobs in it seem to be displaying properly, because I'm sure that... No. Having a moment here. I think that vehicle with the towing the box, the caravan, was in the third party one, but I might be wrong. I might be wrong. Right, there's the fuel truck. They're very good. Cairngorm Mountain Rescue Team have everything set up for us.
Nice touch, cowboy.
Dude, that's twice you've called me cowboy tonight. This is the Royal Air Force. Be very careful. Okay, so we'll do a hot refuel. There we go. What have we got down here? Yep. Alright, quickly checking the chat. Rapid time I'm bringing you good. I think it is, mate. I think it is. Yeah, it is Muzzy, isn't it? I think the same as you, I'm quite familiar with the area as well. One of the reasons I love flying here is because I just feel so at home here. It's just like, I literally feel like I could be pitching my tent, and the place feels so familiar. Right. We shall now simulate getting some fuel on board. There we go. We have just simulated getting some fuel on board. I'm dying for a brew now, Lewis. You put that thought in my mind. I'm almost a little bit tempted to put this on autopilot and then go and make one. But I know that's it's not the done thing, is it? Oh! Bloody click spot went the wrong way. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to shout, folks. It's like doing a mag check using the mouse wheel or the clicks. It goes the wrong way, and it just did that. I was trying to put it up into flight mode and it went down into off. I'm familiar with no, by the time you get one, I'll be on my second. Oh, mate. What is the time? I can see this turning into a long haul stream. Right, quick check. Engine's good. T's and P's good. We've got our fuel. Everything's looking tickety-boo. Okay, quick look around. Oh, look at that. Doobie-doo. That's a very nice H145 there. Okay. Wind on the nose. Pretty much.
VTOS.
Head over that way. Should really have done the right thing and checked on the patient while we were on the ground. The lads in the back aren't screaming at me to break out the magic sponges. Okay, let's keep the climb in. We wave farewell to Feshiebridge. Watching the talk there. The yellow band is like a max takeoff setting or collective setting, which you can only hold for, I can't remember how many minutes, so I should really know that, but you can only hold it for so many minutes before you're in danger of breaking your engine. And of course, if we go into the red, then you are being a very, very naughty boy. So we don't hang about with that. Let's keep the climb in, just skirt around the mountains. I still haven't had a good look to see. Oh, hang on a minute. 9 Wells, is that Aberdeen? What if we're going to Aberdeen? That would make more sense than Dundee. Keeping that climb in. Chocky biscuits for Duncan too. Lewis. For crying out loud. I need to have like a kettle just here for this sort of thing. I know damn well that if I ran downstairs now and made a cup of tea, having put it on autopilot, the minute I step out the room, it's going to go to pot. I just know it. Yes, it can. A320, it most certainly can. If you over-egg it. If you over-torque it, then you break the engines. There's no other way of saying it. And you suddenly find yourself dropping out of the sky. And also, I'll show you something in a second, which I must admit I've not checked in a while. little bit of low cloud. So at the moment I'm kind of hand flying it. I'm keeping a climb in, and I'm also trying to keep some speed on, but just watching those red markers. So I'm just kind of balancing speed and climb rate. I was thinking a little bit then, took my eye off the ball. And then at some point I'll whack it onto autopilot. Just trying to intercept the that blue line really at a shallower angle. Actually, let me put it on autopilot now. So I'm going to leave it on heading mode to intercept, and then we'll keep some climbing. Yeah, you're right. Did you know what? It just occurred to me. I don't think I've auto-rotated the H145. Not that I can remember, anyway. I've auto-rotated the Huey once intentionally, once unintentionally. Yeah, so this is what I was going to show you, A320. You've got failures and maintenance here, and what you can do is you can trigger failures manually. See all your different bits and bobs to do with the AFCAS. You've got other failures, engine fires, all that kind of stuff. You can trigger all those. And then in maintenance you've got engine inlet barrier filters, the IBPFs. You've got clogging. We can see we've got some wear and tear to the engines there. We haven't got any with the there's no chips at the moment, there's no chip detected. So she's not in bad nick, and this is, you got mast moment exceeded. So there's a very tiny element of maintenance in there as well. And that's part of the there's nothing to do with the random and anywhere mod. That's the actual HPG. Yeah, you'd be having a pretty bad day, I suppose, if you had to auto-rotate with two engines. Right, let me show you. Well, first of all, let's have a look. Let's lock off head tracking. Come on. There we go. Let's have a wee look. No, we're going to Dundee. So instead of going to Inverness, it's taking us the longer way down to Dundee. For reasons best known to, it does, and it's a clever mod, so there might be a reason for it, which I can't think of. Let's have a look at the condition again. Yeah, he's still alright. Life score 67. Gunner Burns, that's a good name, isn't it? Gunner Burns. It's the kind of name that you wouldn't mess about. If someone came in for a job interview and you'd seen the CV and it said Gunner Burns, you'd think, this is a chap who knows what they're doing. I have a nasty feeling when just looking at the map then, because it went back to the location where the disembarking was going on. I've got a funny feeling that the mission might well be broken, and when we get to the hospital, it might not work. But I'm kind of living in hope. Living in hope. Tang, can you toggle random realistic failures or just toggle the failure? I think it depends on. So, what failures have I had in the H145? I've had failure with where the engine's been over-torqued, and I've also had a. I had one of the autopilot systems failed. Now I don't know if that was just a glitch or whether that was actually a failure in the sim. But they're the only things that I've actually had that have gone wrong. Oh, let's just couple. There we go. So we can ride the blue line now. I don't think. It's going to over-talk a little bit there. A little bit like me over-talking. Yeah, I don't think it's quite the same as something like the A2A Comanche. That one's for you, Lewis. Where it's a really clever in terms of how it simulates failures and that sort of thing. But it will, you'll break it. Is the if you go over the top. I'm not going to do it now for obvious reasons. But if I did allow, say for example now, I instructed the autopilot to climb at a steep rate at the speed that we're at, it would over-torque it and we would go plummeting down. Yeah, I think failures have to be unexpected, don't they? I think, I know one real-world H145 pilot I spoke to once said that he does practice procedures and things, but yeah, if you're going to have failures, you kind of don't want to know that they're coming. That's for sure. Thank you, Lewis. Good lad. I don't know if this will work in the air, and I just hope it doesn't break it, but it always. Let's get that back. Come on. There we go. Let's recenter. Where is it? I always love this sound. Hang on. Let's do this properly so I don't break anything. Bum, bum, bum.
Fire. Engine 2, fire.
Always reminds me of sleigh bells. There's something very Christmassy about that, about when that goes off. I don't know whether to panic or go ho 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 when that chime goes off. Yes, the startup factor is definitely real, and I think it makes it interesting. It's one of the great things about the Comanche is when you don't know things are going to happen. My first ever experience of carburettorizing in the sim was in the A2A Comanche in FSX, and I was so used to it was at a point where excuse me, I was just kind of getting into good quality third party aircraft, and I'd climbed up through some cloud. I was above the cloud, and then I came back down through the cloud, and I had, lost the power. And I'm thinking, "Good God, what's wrong with the aircraft?" And I start looking at my settings and thinking, "Well, I've got fuel, and that's okay, and that sort of thing," because it never occurred to me. It never occurred to me that it could be carburetor icing. As crazy as that sounds, I was so used to default aircraft, which were just dead from the neck down, and I landed it dead stick. Luckily there was an airfield down there and I had enough height, landed at dead stick, rolled off the active onto a taxiway, and then it just suddenly occurred to me, and I think the video is on the channel, it's a very old one. It suddenly occurred to me, hang on a minute, I wonder if that was carburetor icing. So I put the carb heat on, engine came back to life, and I had the biggest grin on my face, because I thought, wow, that's what it's about. That's what it's about. So yeah, that's when it's kind of cool when you get that kind of thing. Right, so we got 15 minutes. That is plenty of time to run and make a cup of tea. Who wants to go and make a cup of tea? Who else wants to go and make a cup of tea? The time is now coming up to 20 to 12. I'm almost tempted to carry on flying some missions. But you, the viewer, are what drives this. If you're all going to go off and make a brew or something, then I'm just going to go and make a brew. We've got time. Okay, let's do it. Right. So. Oh, this feels so wrong. This feels so wrong. Okay. I'm going to lock off the head tracking. There we go. I'm going to kill the camera, so now you've just got a lovely screen of the outside view. In fact, there we go. Beautiful. Right. Deploy the kettle. I'll be back. the back. How's it all going? Oh, it's okay. That's alright. Everything is working fine. There we go. James, how you doing? I don't blame you, mate. Quarters to 12. Right, so there we go. Right, we've got the tea. Very important. Sorry, I was just looking down at my loot deck, just checking something. Right, in case you're not British, I was talking about hobnobs before. That is a hobnob. OT on the back, chocolatey on the front. OT, chocolatey. The king of biscuits. This is the point where Lewis says, oh, well, I quite like rich tea. Yeah, Lewis, you are a legend when it comes to night operations. I mean, this is fairly laid back, but running Le Mans laps is pretty hardcore, mate. Your adrenaline levels must be good. Yeah, A320, you've definitely got the advantage when it comes to time. It is yeah, quarter to midnight now. Trevor, how you doing? Yes, you can't beat a hobnob. Here we go. Lewis, hobnobs are okay, but not the king. More the pretender. So what's the king? What was the king of biscuits? I am sorry, by the way. I'll try and mask any chewing noises. Yeah, ginger nuts are alright, but I must admit I tend to associate them with God, what is it? Was it seasickness? Or was it air sickness? Someone saying they're a good way of curing air sickness or seasickness. Chocolate digestive. Chocolate digestive is very good. But I'm sorry to disagree with you, Lewis, because I know you are an expert in these matters, but a hobnob trumps a standard issue chocolate biscuit any day. Plus they're better for you because they've got oats in them, isn't it? Oats is healthy energy. A320, will I need to do the procedure with the image layout generator every time I launch the... No, you won't, A320. You just do it once. You just do it once and then it will work in the sim. And at some point they are going to fix it. Let's lose some height. At some point they are going to fix it, but that's the workaround at the moment. Unfortunately, because of the way it was described in some ways, it sounds more complicated than it actually is, but it's a piece of cake. And give me a shout if I can help with any of it. So I'm just using the collective trim switch just to bring us down. Come down to 2,000 feet. Seeing there's no lumpy bumpy mountains, that's Dundee on the nose. Ginger nuts are alright. Yeah, I guess to an American that's a completely different connotation. Also, a price of chocolate digestive pack is sub £1, whereas the hobnob is probably £27.99. Yeah. You're probably not far off there, mate. Trevor, yeah, interesting. I'm looking forward to that MH60 as well. I'm really excited to see what they've done with it. I said some time ago I'd love a Black Hawk, and then this kind of came up, and I know it's kind of a close relative of the Black Hawk. I don't know a huge amount about it, to be honest, but I am really excited to see what they've done, and also to see how the missions work. Because one of the things I love about the way this mission system works is it's more simulation, less gamey. And I'm kind of hoping that's the same with the other one. I love the fact that in this you have the option of waiting while your guy goes in and does the handover and does the paperwork. That to me is a simulation rather than gamifying it. You can tell that this mod is written by an Airbus helicopter flying instructor, simply because the amount of detail he's put into it. Right, hang on a minute, I'm going in for the hobnob again. Some more height. Speed a little bit. So again, I'm just still on the autopilot, so I'm just using the cyclic
2 nautical miles from the hospital.
Cyclic trim switch and collective trim switch just to adjust what I'm doing there. Now I seem to remember the helipad here isn't particularly brilliant, but I can't remember if the last time I came here. There's a link to it in the video description. I've got a Scottish helipads scenery, which is on flightsim.to. I've got that loaded in, and I can't remember what this one is like. It's not one of the... I was going to say it's not one of the easiest, but I actually can't remember now. I can see it. I can see it. Land ahoy. Right, autopilot off. Check. Cyclic trim release. There we go. I have control. Let's get rid of the tablet. Where's the wand? The wand is over there. 6 knots.
Destination in sight. Medical crew is waiting on landing spot.
There it is. There's the hospital, and there's the. You can probably see the helipad now. Okay, yes, that has definitely benefited from having the third party. So the last time I came here, I don't think I had the third party app. But quite impressive, that hospital building does look like a hospital, doesn't it? I don't know if that's you know, some kind of enhanced
500.
Enhanced DeSoto scenery, but it does look like one. And in front of the helipad we have a Celtic maze designed to confuse helicopter pilots. I think this hobnob's got something very suspect in it, which you don't want to find when you're trying to land a helicopter.
for ground operations. Perfect landing. Wow.
I promise you, I didn't pay him to say that. There we go. What the hell was that in my hobnob? It's a bit of husk. It shows that they're real. It's got a bit of oat husk in it. Yeah, it's a cool helipad, isn't it? Again, the detail in the scenery. Amazing that that's there. What I sometimes do is stick Google Maps up. When you see something like that, you know, you can have a look at Google Maps and see what that's doing. So again, I just realised I was so concentrating so much on what we were doing, it just occurred to me that it worked fine. So as we got, I just realised the microphone's around the back of my head because I didn't want you to be tortured by the crunching of the biscuit. The issue that we had with the tablet being stuck on the message saying deboarding the mountain rescue guy. As soon as we got near the hospital, that kind of went on to the next mode. So there's obviously just some kind of message persistence going on the tablet with that particular function. And again, I'll say it again, this is a free mod that a guy, an Airbus helicopter flying instructor, is doing in his own time. The amount of work that's gone into it is just astounding. It really is. Is there a NAM mod to turn it into an armour? Yeah. Sadly not. Oh, that was good fun, wasn't it, Lewis? That was good fun. Lewis and I had some laughs in armour. Well, we've had a lot of laughs in armour. Yeah, flying helicopters, or I was flying. Lewis was gunning out the door. Great fun. Jessimo, good God, how on earth are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. Hope all is well with you, my friend. I'm still waiting. Waiting to see you play Wembley. Although, I guess it can't be far off. Yeah, I'm good, thank you. I'm good. It's good to see you. Okay. Votes. Do we do another mission? Time is now 4 minutes to 12. I've got one hobnob left. I have a full mug of tea. I'm up for it if you are. But it's, you know, it's up to you. Do we do another mission? Some fresh air. I actually wish I could open the window in this room. My my rig puts out so much heat. It would be lovely, and I've got a window just here. You can just see the windowsill. But the problem is when I'm streaming and I've got the headphones on, I don't realise how loud I am. And my wife, you know, quite often reminds me about how I'm getting shouty and everything, and how even with the windows closed you can hear me in the garden. So if I had the windows open, my God, people would be lying in their beds thinking, why the hell is some crazy guy screaming about helipads and hobnobs and patient conditions and all that sort of thing. Okay, looks like we're doing another mission. You need a new wife. What, a wife that likes shouting about medical conditions. Okay, so if you missed it before, so the medical crew, our medical crew, have gone in with the hospital crew to do a handover to the doctor, to say we gave him adrenaline, we gave him some paracetamol, we gave him a rub with the magic sponge, and all that sort of thing. And what's happening is it's simulating that time frame, and we could sit here and wait for them to do that. We would have closed the engines down, we would have nipped into the hospital shop and bought a cup of tea and a Twix or something. Jeez, that hobnob had half the bloody farm in it. Bloody hell. So what we're going to do now is skip the paperwork. Don't you act all nonchalant and too cool for school. Get your ass in the helicopter. Right. So we've skipped the we haven't skipped the helicopter, we've skipped the paperwork, and we've got Matey Boy in. Just waiting for him to board. Yeah. You were just playing hard to get them, weren't you? Pretending that you weren't going to get back in.
Cabin secured, ready to fly.
Okay, we'll accept a new mission. So that sound is the audio cue that we've got a mission. And because of where we are now in Dundee, we could end up anywhere. Right, 3 injured. A person in the building requires assistance. Route has been set to accident site, but casualties may be at rescue location. Okay.
Cabin preparations, please wait.
Okay, so just waiting for everything to cycle up. So we can see there, this is simulating the guys in the back mopping up all the blood, packing away all the boxes of plasters that they've used and all that sort of thing. Okay, so there's our destination over there. That's where we're flying to. Come on, lads. We're ready to go, aren't we? Yeah. Pilots are doing their thing. Cheers, Stu. Great having you along, mate.
Cabin preparations completed.
Oh, love it. Right, at least one injured, waiting for info. Person in the building requires assistance. More on info ASAP. Waiting info about rescue vehicles presence. So, good opportunity to say. What this also simulates is it simulates other emergency services. Oh, you can see it there. I wonder if we'll see it move. The scale on the map is wound out so far you might not. So as we speak at the moment, there are ambulances and potentially police and potentially fire appliances going to the location, and as they arrive we learn more about the state of the casualty. They may stabilise them in, to make our job a little bit easier when we get there. So this is all kind of happening real time. Okay, that's a good. Well, let's go. Wind on the nose, building over there, trees down there. So we'll just. Wind speed is 10 knots.
VTOS.
So less mountains here, so it's a little bit simpler in that we don't need to do any huge amounts of climbing. That's Dundee Airport. Can't remember if I've loaded in my Orbex Dundee. Yeah, I must have done. Straight through their ATZ like a hot knife through butter. Emergency teeth delivery, yes. Okay. So that's a good. We've got blue line on the map, so we know that everything's connected up. And now I can couple the autopilot to that, and now I can have a sip of tea. Living the dream. So actually, where the hell's my mouse pointer gone? It's a shame because I don't have. I don't think I have third-party scenery for it. But let me show you where we are. So we are here. We've just been to Dundee, went to the hospital, flown over here. You've got RAF Lucas, which is very well known. And then we're going to be heading, by the looks of it, somewhere over this away. By the looks of it, yeah. Check the height. Over this bit here, and again, you know, talking about the scenery, you remember what it was like when we were in the mountains, and now we're kind of down in lower countryside farm areas, and it's very different. Just putting in a few dabs more of height. Oh. Well, I remember again, just in case anyone has joined that wasn't here before, I'll put a link to the Discord in the chat. So yeah, looking at the map there, I don't think they've arrived yet, but there's a hospital on the way, ambulance on the way. Oh, they're there. Ambulance SAS 530 has reached the scene. Crew requires further assistance. So again, just going back to what I was saying before, this is HEMS. So we've got, this is essentially is taking the hospital primary care expertise to the patient, rather than just going to the patient, picking them up and taking them back to the hospital. So we've got a doctor on board. We've got the kind of crew that can do some advanced medical care for the patient on the ground, stabilise them, get them into the aircraft, get them back to the hospital, and the idea being that by the time they get back to the hospital they're in a lot better nick. And a lot of this was actually learnt in Afghanistan. I say learnt, they took a lot of learnings from it, I should say. There's Lucas. But yeah, someone's got a much better chance of survival if you have someone on board the aircraft who can do some clever medical stuff. That's interesting. So the ambulance is on scene, but at the moment we don't know the name of the patient because they haven't taken the name yet. We know where it is. We know what it is. We don't know the state of the patient because they haven't assessed them yet. And patient assigned emergency code 5 means that again they haven't assessed it yet. So again, it's simulating. At some point, we might get some more detail on the state of the patient. Oh, not a good time to get an itchy nose. That's not bad, 6 minutes out. Jesus. It's so hot in this room with the computer kicking out heat. My hobnob is melting. Come on, where's the so, can't really see it. Just over there is St Andrew's Golf Course, but it's right over there. We're not really close enough. Excuse me. KW94, is this available in the 24 marketplace? It's not. It's available on the High Performance Group website because it's a little bit more complicated than the standard add-on, because you've got the H145 base pack. You've then got the sorry, I've just had a message come up on my monitor saying it's about to switch off because I've been doing this for so long. It thinks, well, what are you doing? H145 base pack, H145 action pack. And then you have another piece of software, which is the High Performance Group Operation Center, which is a separate program. And then you have this mod that we're using, Random and Anywhere mod. So we got a ping then.
500.
Okay.
Ambulance with no paramedic. Confirmed on scene.
There we go. So actually what I'm going to do, because it's quite interesting to see what they say, I'll put it back onto... I want to see if how this changes at all now that the ambulance is properly on scene. I want to see what they say. I want to see if we get an update. That's why I have to stop my room getting to... Yeah. It's crazy, Stu, isn't it? The amount of heat these things put out. And I'm in quite a small room. It's the room that I work from home in. And I've got my kind of sim set up in. But it's quite small. And it's lovely when I'm not shouting on a stream. I can have the window open here, and it's just beautiful getting that night air coming in. It's really nice, but not when I'm saying, "My God, look at that! It's wind," and other things, because the neighbours really will think I've lost my marbles. A320 downloading now. Do you know what? And I mean this genuinely. I'm blooming excited for you.
I set a possible hospital destination for our patient. Infos are available on tablet.
I'm excited.
We can confirm or change later.
I'm excited for you because, I mean, it might be a bit different for you because you've done this for real, but for me it was just mind-blowing. Absolute mind-blowing. You could do all this stuff. And I can do this for hours. Okay, so I don't think that's going to change much, but I am going to keep it up.
2 nautical miles from accident area.
The ambulance crew that don't have a paramedic, obviously they're not in a position to properly assess the patient. So let's take it off autopilot. And we'll do a little recce. See, because that looks like it's quite far into town. I need to figure out how to turn the flares off. Well, I can't remember where the setting is. I think it's in the tablet somewhere. But for a while in 2024 the flares weren't working, and I actually quite liked it because it's a little bit more realistic. You know, not having a huge amount.
We are approaching the landing site.
Not having a huge amount of orange smoke coming into the sky, because generally ambulance crews don't tend to do that when the air ambulance is coming in, as far as I'm aware. Okay, so we've got a nice grass area there. Oh, we've got some grass there. We've got the beach. It's a nice little town, isn't it? I think I'm going to go for that grass there. Right, Oué Lavande. Yeah, I think I'm going to take that grass. Let's close the... Now that looks like it's on a slope as well, so that's... No, I'm in an absolute... I'm way too high. And this is an absolute classic scenario where I could get into VRS. Because the want to get down low versus doing it at a steady rate so that we don't go into VRS is strong. So I'm just being careful. Looks like we've got some trees and some bits and bobs. Let's watch that building.
We are reasonably close.
I love the way they say that. We are reasonably close. It's almost like, yeah, satisfactory. Could have been better. Let's just gently ease around. Try and get a little bit closer on the grass here. Trying to judge what kind of slope we've got. And I did mention there is a
Perfect landing. Wow.
there is a, if we there, this is a really nice indicator, especially if you're just starting out and you're learning. It's a hover indicator, and it kind of gives you an idea of with that circle of where
Rear crew,
you know where you are in terms of the hover. So it's a good way of, in addition to looking outside and looking and just getting that spatial awareness of what the aircraft is doing, you can use that to give you a more accurate positioning. The danger is
helicopter in position. Rear crew, you are clear to start operations.
The danger is getting too focused on the instrument and not looking outside, and then suddenly you're chasing the instrument. So I must admit, I these days I rarely use it. I tend to look outside, and a lot of that also comes from flying a Huey and a Llama where you don't have something like that. Okay, doke. Where's the lads? There they go. Yeah, what's that slope like? Well, it's not too bad. If I'd just been over here a little bit, it wouldn't be quite so... Oh, we've got some bumps around here. Definitely wouldn't want to go in there. Right, they're doing their walking through walls thing. That's the Air Force. We don't mess about. House in the way, just walk through it. Don't mess about walking around it. So, here's our casualty. Now, that is an accident and a half. They got their head stuck in a wall whilst wearing their gym jams. And you, where is he? He's trying not to laugh, look. Look at him. He's trying not to laugh. Sorry, let's take this more seriously. You look suspiciously like the chap that was there with our bicyclists. You're like a bad omen. Whoa! And over here we have our ambulance crew. Now this is an additional download pack. You can download emergency vehicles for different countries. So this is the UK pack. So yes, we are in Scotland, but for the UK, that's what the ambulance looks like, which is absolutely fine. Because from 500 feet, it's an ambulance. Right. I don't know if anyone said it before. So, quiz again. Muppet Show. What does that remind you of? Which character in the Muppet Show does that remind you of? Or is it really just me? If I just... there. The clue being that at the moment with 2024, for some reason the visors, those anti-sun glare visors, show through the glass of the canopy without any kind of filtering on it. So that's a clue. But who do you think it looks like? And I'm hoping someone will say it, otherwise I just know I've got some whack imagination. But there you go. Right, catch up with the chat. Let's just lock off that. And let's get the patient. Daisy Lynch, 56 years, female, apartment house hotel accident. Status upon medical arrival responsive, that's good considering she's got her head stuck in a wall. Patient assigned emergency code 2, so code 2 meaning immediate risk of serious injury. If I had my head stuck in a wall, I'd be thinking the same. Heart rate is quite low. Oh, it's just gone up. See, that's what I'm talking about. It was 49, it's now gone up to 52. That's because the doctor is working on the patient. Brilliant. And oxygen saturation 95.1. Right, catch up with the chat. The HEMS anywhere. Is it truly random? Last stream Norway, this stream Scotland. Are you picking the locations? No, it's not dumb at all. So A320, you pick where you want to start. You can start anywhere in the world, literally anywhere in the world. And there are some settings in the Random and Anywhere program where in terms of centering where the emergencies are, so you can center the emergencies on your helicopter position or I think your starting position. So like if I'd set it to be starting position, it wouldn't have taken us down here, it would have taken us back to somewhere near Feshiebridge. But I tend to leave it on where my position is because you tend to travel a bit more. Like we've ended up coming down here, you know, to Dundee, and now we've come a bit further south. But it works on wherever you are in the world. So the random and anywhere bit is that you don't know what kind of emergency you're going to face, although there are customization settings so that you can do that if you want to, or you can eliminate certain emergencies that you don't want to do. And also you don't know where the emergency is going to be. I don't want to bugger the mission up, so I'm not going to start messing about with settings, but there are so many settings in this. Different ways you can either do what we're doing, which is the basic chuck a mission my way and let's go with it, or you can go deeper into the settings. You can change the number of crew you've got. You can change distances between you know, pickups, hospital, so many different aspects to it. It is blooming amazing, it really is. Here we go. So he's come back to get the stretcher out, and also it's worth saying sometimes you don't take the patient back to the hospital in the helicopter. If they're in a really bad state and the hospital isn't too far away, the doctor will stay with the patient in the ambulance, go back to the hospital, and then our job then is just to fly back to the hospital to pick the doctor up. And that kind of stuff does happen. Sorry, I'm just listening for sounds. Let's just take the listening for sounds. God, if that wasn't an obvious thing to say, what else are you going to be listening for? But you know what I mean. There he goes. There you go, my friend. Straight through the wall with the Air Force. Ramming speed! Look at that. Done with purpose. Love it. I think you've gone hobnob cuckoo. Yeah. No one actually did the Muppet Show thing. Right, see, blah 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 blah. The scenes in both look amazing, way better than in New Jersey. In real life, you are coming down really slow. Not only VRS, but more important, wires. You can't see them. I had one close call at night. Yeah, exactly. And if you get the Mamu power lines and wind farms mod, then you've got lots of wires to look out for as well. That's definitely worth getting for helicopters. I got a hint of reflection and came to an immediate stop. Wires everywhere. Am I clear? Wow. So someone on the ground had cleared, presumably given you an indication that the LZ was clear, and then you suddenly found a lot of twanging stuff right in front of you. No, A320. You are more than welcome. I mean, that, in a way, that's the enjoyable thing about doing these streams, is that is when you is the chat. Otherwise, this is a very kind of selfish activity because I'm having all the fun doing the flying. It's a bit like, it reminds me of when you're a kid and you're sitting, or you've got your mates over and you're all sitting around the game console, and it's the equivalent of you sitting there playing FIFA or whatever and not letting your mates have a go and just telling them what's happening. So I love it when it's in the chat. There we go.
On board. Take care.
You're tucked in sunshine, all nice and cozy. Right. Everything's looking fine.
Cabin secured, ready to fly.
So, which hospital? Oh, we're going back to Dundee. Dundee, here we come. Good. Okay, so nothing going on there. That's all in the green. Get the HSI back up. Right, watch out for seagulls. So we've got buildings over there. We've got lumpy, bumpy bits there. The wind is behind us, so I'll take off, rotate, and head off that way. Right, watch the slope. So we need to just a little bit of right side click there. Lovely beach. Sorry, I was trying to look at the map to see where we are to tell you, and wasn't concentrating on the flying, which is very, very unprofessional of me to do. But I just wanted to, and I can't see and something. Anstruther? Is it Anstruther? Watch out for the dirty great big mast.
V1.
Looks like a telephone mast. Lewis, just abuse it. That's why I let him stream. Every so often I just say, okay, Grandad, when he starts banging on about things in his day. You cheeky so-and-so. Here, mate, you're getting there now. Let's not forget. Let's not forget what landmark you passed last year. Hey, Chinook, how you doing? Hope all is good with you, my friend. Okay, quick look down. Everything is coolio. Let's have that on. And couple. That's all good. Speed's good. Altitude is okay. Yeah, A320. I heartily recommend the. Don't get the Orbex power lines. Get the Mamu power lines on Sim Market. I think it's on. Really good, and it certainly adds a lot to it. There's nothing quite like doing low level through the Alps, and suddenly you see a row of red and white balls, and then you think, oh, okay, there's a cable attached to that. It's great fun. It is late, Chinook. It's 12:30, but I was led by peer pressure into flying another mission. Just watched NavSim 101 on tutorial. Don't think I'm that dumb. So I can see. I don't know what that is, Dom. You've lost me there, mate. Is that a tutorial on using the nav in the H145? Oop. I don't know about that, Chinook. I don't know about that. I don't know if that's a good idea. I tell you what, I don't mind admitting it, but I'm bloody tempted. How are we for fuel? 47 minutes endurance. Yeah, let me just have a bit of my melted hobnob. You are hardcore, Lewis. How long do you oh god, I thought the sim was going to crash then. Oh, I hate it when it does that. It's running super smooth. There's just been a few of those stutters that normally kind of precede a crash to desktop. But I guess it's just loading in data from the server. Sorry, Lewis, I was saying when you do Le Mans, how long do you race for? I should say Lewis is very much into sim racing, and he's also a streamer, and you can catch him on his streams on Twitch. I'll give him a plug because he's a mate. Yeah, Lewis Bloom. One word, Lewis Bloom is his name on Twitch. And also, he's the guy from A2A that we need to ask for a P51. There, I went there. I did it. Ah, okay, I get that. Hey, oh, I just paused again. Stop it. Stop it. I can't remember if it's Prime or Netflix, but the Steve McQueen Le Mans film is on one of them. I've never seen it. I need to check that out. Cheers, James. Good to have you along, mate. Nighty night. What's this little town? Guardbridge. A lovely little town with a little chimney. Don't know what that was, but it looks a bit desolate now. Probably just afford to be going a little bit faster than this. One of the things about 2024, and to be fair 2020 as well, it was exactly the same, just wasn't in so much detail, but sometimes you see something on the ground and you think, what the hell is that? And you know that it's real life, because that is the real world. And there's been times where I've seen things on the ground and I've thought, you know, what the hell is that? That's some kind of glitch in the sim. And then you go and look at Google Maps and you think, Christ, that actually exists. That's whatever that is. That's real. I'll think about it. I've got to say, I do love streaming. I don't do it often enough. But the thing I love about streaming is things like tonight. It's having a blast doing this kind of stuff, which I love, but also having a good chat. I love making videos and the creative process of editing them and all that kind of stuff. But there's nothing quite like tonight, just thinking, do you know what? I fancy flying the helicopter, I fancy doing some HEMS stuff. Why don't I stream it and have a chat at the same time? Bloody brilliant. As long as people want to watch it, I'll carry on doing it. Do you know what? I just realised something I haven't checked in 2024 since SU2 came out is if the fauna bug is still there. There was an issue before, and I don't know if everyone had it, but I certainly had it strangely after getting a new GPU. If I had fauna on, I had really bad frame rates in certain areas, not everywhere, but in certain areas, all of a sudden my frame rates would just, the arse would just drop out of them. And I thought I had hardware issues, and then I looked into it, and sure enough, people were saying if you turn off fauna, then it solves it. I've not checked to see if I can turn that back on again, because let's face it, you know, one of the great things about 24 is the ability to fly over a field of sheep or cows or something. You know, it does add to the immersion a bit when you're having to factor in landing in a field where, oh look, there's cows in it, yeah, we better not land there. That's realism, folks.
Two nautical miles from the hospital.
Okay. Good God, that Bugatti went like a flash. Now, this is interesting. Ninja 6RR in a 222 UT could well be where we're going. But let's disengage autopilot. Check the wind. I know where the helipad is, so I don't really need to do much of a recce. But that's interesting.
Rear crew, we are approaching the landing site.
Try not to be too distracted, but looks like they've landed in the hospital itself, in the building. Okay, let's kill the tablet. Wind is 9 knots.
$500.
Oh, there they are. I was going to say I'm not seeing the hospital crew, but there they are. Get ready to have a blow dry, fellas, because I'm coming in right over your heads. Less than ideal approach, if I'm honest.
Rear crew, prepare for ground operations.
Less than ideal. Lost a bit of the sight picture there, so that's a little bit disorientating, but that's fine. Let's just bring her in. One of the things that can happen one of the things that can happen is you can get into a into like an oscillating state, and I think this happens in the real thing. But certainly, when I was learning to fly, it happened to me a fair bit, and sometimes, and I was in danger of getting into it there, where by oscillating you are coming in, starting to lose the sight picture of the helipad, so start pulling back on the cyclic just to slow that perception that, oh god, we're going to run off the end of the helipad. So then you start coming back, and then it's like, oh blimey, we're going back, put it forward, and you end up doing this, and sometimes you do that as well. Not like that, like that. That won't mean anything to anyone outside of the UK. I do apologise. So yeah, it kind of felt like that was where that was getting. And I'm a little bit forward on the helipad there, I can feel that. Yeah. Not too bad, but a little bit forward of the centre. So it wasn't a bullseye. Right, catch up the chat.
Boarded to the hospital and is safe.
Lewis, right, I've got you on my top monster now, sat in rig and going to get bullied as I run some laps in the lowest class Porsche. Okay, mate. A320, I used to chase bears in the Angles National Forest low level until they got pissed off and then turned around and tried to attack the helicopter. Bloody hell. Very cool. As my old company is livery. Oh, brilliant. PHI. Oh, okay, you flew for them. If I start bitching about pay, then you'll know it's in fact very immersive. Love it. Oh, that's really cool. It's got your old company in. I'm really, genuinely, really excited for you. I just hope that it's not having, because you've done the real thing. I just hope it's not a disappointment. but hopefully, like the other guy was talking about, it you know, you'll get some kind of enjoyment out of it. So yeah, the guys have gone in. They're going to do the paperwork. We've got, well, an hour endurance sat sitting on the ground, which isn't quite the same. So I think what I'm going to do is we will depart here. We'll fly down to Dundee Airport, which is just down there, and there we will call it a night. We'll shut down the helicopter, and then we'll go and hit the bar. Does that sound good to you? Sounds good to me. Okay, I'm going to. Do you know? I suddenly realised again. In case you missed it, because I don't know, people do join part way through, which reminds me, I shall whack the Discord link in there. Yeah, I'm sitting here doing nothing because the guys have gone in to do the paperwork. They've gone in to do the handover with the hospital crew. So my doctor who's on board the helicopter has gone in to do that bit. But if I click on this here, we can skip that bit and he comes back again. So again, it's giving you the ability to simulate real time if you want to, but not having the restriction. You know, if you push for time, because you can literally spend hours, as I've done this evening. I can't remember what time I started. I want to say, God, was it 3 hours ago, something like that? Totally lost track of time. End mission. Yes, you know, it can take a long time, or you can use skip to get around that. Oh, I know what we'll do. So A320, you won't have any problem getting to know the 145. The helionic system is I do not like glass cockpit. I don't fly airliners. I don't fly any of the default Asobo aircraft with glass cockpit. I'm not a glass cockpit fan at all. However, this helionic system in the Airbus H145, for some reason I love it. Right, I'll just show you some bits. Okay, that's locked off now. So we've completed the mission, so that's fine. What I'm trying to do is get back to the settings. Okay, it's not going to let me. Okay, so if I come out of here, see if I can actually. There we go. You can zoom in. Right. So A320, you know, I was talking about all the different settings. So, and we'll just kind of scratch the surface, but you can select what page you want it to appear, and remember. And this is for everybody. This is the random and everywhere. I say random and anywhere because in some places it's called random and anywhere. Some places it's called random and everywhere. You can select what splash screen you want. This is what I was talking about before. You can select the maximum range for the accident. So if you haven't got a huge amount of time on your hands, you don't want to do a lot of A to B flying, you can reduce the maximum range of the accident, and in the same way you can change the minimum range as well. So, you know, I mean, it's what it says on the tin. You know, that's obvious. You can select the number of crew members you've got on board. You can select whether the dispatch coverage centre, so the area for your missions, is centred on you, your start location, or you can select a custom location on the map. So, like if I wanted to say, right, well, I only want to fly in the Cairngorms National Park area, I could select that as my focal point, and then it will just give us missions in that area, which is kind of cool. If we go into settings, this is where it gets a little bit more granular. Most used settings are P for persistent, but again, you've got that stuff there. Is range randomly selected at startup, so you've got that. Crew members, we talked about that before. Crew members boarding mode, manual boarding is started by starting boarding procedure. I've just got it on auto so that they board when we fire it up. Ground operations require engines idle or off, only off. This is what we were talking about the other day, A320, where you were saying that you tended to keep the engines running. It's that kind of like, and I don't know if it's different companies, different countries have different ways of doing it, but like the UK H145 HEMS chap said that if there's any kind of delay, they'll tend to close the engines down. Difficulty level, I've got it on default. I should set it to hard actually, because that'd be interesting to see what we get. Does the pilot board with relative animations? That's just an immersion thing. If you're sitting in the cockpit seat, you probably don't want to see the pilot come along. Defines the average injured visit rescue times. Again, so that's where we're sitting on the ground. You know, how long is it going to be while the guys are doing their work? If visit time is custom adjusted, you can change the time. So if we didn't want to simulate, you know, the magic sponge and the plasters and all that sort of thing on the ground, then you can change that time to a shorter time. Or if you really want to go hardcore, you can wind it out, and then you can have as many cups of tea in the night as you want. You can select 2 hoisted crew members, doctor and 1 crew, yes or no. We've got it to yes because we're doing full-on HEMS stuff. You've then got search and rescue options, and again you've got distances. Where do you want the ring to be displayed on the map, or do you want to go it blind without the ring? How close to the casualty have you got to be to let the crew spot them? Display the path history, you saw that before on the map. I mean, there's just so much here. Dispatch options, scene vehicle options, life scores, how that works. Down here you've got sliders to set up different parameters for, is the patient going to go by helicopter, is it going to go by ambulance? Rescue vehicles, nationality, I've got it set to automatic because it just senses where you are. I mean, look, there's just so many, and this is a free mod. A guy uses his spare time when he's not teaching people to fly Airbuses. He does all this just for the love of it. You can leave a donation on his page on the flightsim.to, and it feels very rude not to with the amount of work that he puts into it. But I'm not going to run through all these in detail, but I mean, a lot of it is very obvious. But if you download the realistic voices pack, then you need to set it to realistic. I've not got the German pack here. I've got the English pack, but you need to set that there, otherwise it won't come up. I'm just mentioning that A320 in case you're gonna get that. Audio declutter, custom dispatch tone. I mean, my God, he really has thought of everything. Avionics, different ways that you can have that there. Even the radio self time test. So that's the radio that you saw me fire up at the beginning, which is what links us to dispatch. You can set whether it's a short or realistic fire up time, and then you've just got some other bits and pieces where you can do some diagnostics and that sort of thing. Then you've got this page where you can select fuel control, refuel options, and and from where the truck arrives. So you can decide which way the fuel truck comes from. Ground handling, open clause. I mean, look at all this stuff that he has built into it. You can select your kit. So we've got the high intensity searchlight. We've got the hoist. We've got some parts of the mounting kits because we're doing search and rescue. I mean, it's just amazing. Look at that. Stunning. So that gives you an idea of blimey, where's my button gone? That gives you an idea of all the bits and bobs that you've got there. Right, let's fly back to Dundee. Quick check of everything. Engines to flight. Ooh, IBF clog trend. I wonder if that's because we've been sitting there messing about for so long. So this is a good chance to blah blah blah. I think that's because I've been sitting doing this for so long, just chatting. So we'll go into here and we will do all maintenance actions because we've got an engineer on board, of course we have. So that's all done. Right. Itchy neck. Right, quick check of the chat. I don't think you should ask any Englishman to speak German. We've fought a couple of world wars to make sure. Right. At 12:56 AM in the land of midnight sun. So the airport is just over there. Just a hop, skip and a jump.
VTOS.
Quite a nice detail at this airport as well. You've got the practice aircraft structure there for the firefighters. Amazes me how dead 2024 is. Dundee normally in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 has a bit of life to it, but there's still a lot of people not flying in 2024. And 2020 is still very much alive. But I think, as I was saying, for helicopters, I quite like 2024. Fuel warning there, that's alright. Good chance to practice hover taxiing, something that I'm not particularly good at. Check there's nothing coming. I'm always mindful of when I've got multiplayer set up is that if someone's just done a long IFR flight using ATC and all that sort of thing, and then some idiot in a big yellow helicopter flies in front of them, that's going to pee you off. Now the sensible thing to do would have been to have checked out where the helipad is. I don't know where the helipad is because I've not really flown in here in the heli-whopper. So I'm going to be a helipad, couldn't it? Let's have a look. Actually, realistically, it's probably just a square bit of concrete. And someone is now looking out their office window saying, and I won't do the accent, but saying, who is that idiot in a big yellow helicopter? Look, oh, look at that. No. Is this going to work? Oh my God, it's working. We've got a marshaller. How cool is this? All right. He's saying get over, get over. Seems to only want me to go in one direction, but I guess he's confused because we're a heli-whopper. You got any fuel, mate?
Oh, nice touch, Captain.
There we go. Well, at least he didn't call me cowboy again. Start turning a few things off. Right. Can't remember what the rotor brake speed is because I never use it. Oh, there we go. That's all good. And now we can have avionics off. DC receipt off. That's already done. That's all off. Precision lights off. Down here is all good. Turn off the mission radio and quick look down here. Off, off, and good night, Vienna. And there was nothing but the wind. Right, you can put your arms down now, mate. Me and the lads down. Yes, right. We're off to try and book into the local Premier Inn. We don't get any swanky hotels in the Air Force, despite what people might think. And get some food and hit the bar. If only they simulated that as well. Anyway, it's been an absolute pleasure having everyone along. Thank you very much, everyone who's joined, especially the guys in the chat. It's the chat that makes it pleasurable, really. Otherwise, it's quite a lonely thing just streaming to silence. And it's been a good chat tonight. Enjoyed it very much. A320, I like I said, I envy you. You know when it's like a good film or something like that, and you say, I envy you because you're going to see it for the first time. I envy you because you're about to discover all this for yourself. Although because you've done it for real, it's a very different experience to someone like me who's not done it for real. But yeah, let me know in the Discord what you think. I'd love to know how you get on with it. And talking of which, just before we sign off, I'll just put a link to the Discord in the chat. So yeah, if you fancy joining, come along and say hello. We've got a warbird section, a helicopter section, a general aviation section, and once in a blue moon we even have group flights. And streaming as well. When I'm streaming, quite often people will join me for that. But yeah. Anyway, right. Shall we head off? I think we should. So yeah, thank you ever so much for joining. It's been an absolute pleasure. And